How to record the screen in macOS, iOS, and iPadOS is part of a series of online demonstrations of material that can be found on the CEL Open Resource Repository. Tools we're going to be exploring include macOS's Shift Command 5 option that became available in macOS Mojave and Catalina, iPadOS and iOS screen capturing, QuickTime for basic editing using QuickTime's trim functionality, how to compress and convert your video using Miro Video Converter, and finally uploading your materials to learn. So some quick recording tips. Selecting an environment, it's important to select a room that either has a good carpet in it, a large rug, and if you don't have that, throw down some pillows or some comforters on the floor. It will help to dampen any additional echo that you may have inside the room. Eliminate background noise, so make sure your windows are closed, your ceiling fans are turned off, air conditioning units, and try to select a time of the day when other people and pets are a little quieter inside the home so that you can reduce the amount of background noise and distractions. Any additional devices that you may have in the room that you don't need for recording, cell phones or tablets, either mute them or power them off or just keep them out of the room completely so that they don't introduce any additional background low frequency hum. In terms of accessories, we do recommend that you try to use an external microphone if at all possible, and this may be a microphone that is equipped with a headset. You don't have to get anything super fancy. The whole idea behind this is that if you're recording using your computer, the internal microphone is equipped very, very close to the fan. So as soon as the fan kicks in, the sound of the motor of the fan is going to obscure your recording. So it'll create some additional noise that you probably don't want to have interfering with what it is that you're trying to present. macOS Shift Command 5 function was introduced with macOS Mojave and is part of Catalina. And it is invoked when you use the keyboard command, which is Shift Command 5. The first three options that you see here are still capturing. So you can either capture your screen, you can capture the window that you have selected, or you can use the selection tool to capture just a specific selection of the window. Video recording, the right side of the bar is where we're actually going to be concentrated on recording. So you've got the record full screen selection here, or you can select a portion of your screen and just record the selection. And under the options here, you have the capability of choosing your microphone, your location, and your timer, and more. So let's go ahead and explore that now. I wanted to demonstrate why you may want to record a segment of your screen. So for my presentation on Chichen Itza, I want to do a little bit of a virtual exploration of this wonderful visualization that you can find on Google Poly of Chichen Itza. So if I was going to do this, what I would do is I would hit my Command Shift 5, and I'm already doing a screen recording for the purposes of this demo, but as you can see, it's already continually recording. But if this was the first time that I invoked this, then I could use my selection tool here and it would focus just on this particular selection. So let's go ahead and I'm just going to hit capture, and it's going to give me a screen capture, but you can see exactly what happens. And when it's done, it creates a little thumbnail here that you can open up, and that's how you can review it. But while you're doing your screen capture, some of the things that you can do, you can go inside the little door here, and I could describe exactly what my students are seeing, and then we can zoom back out, and I can describe some other very interesting components of this site. And yeah, it's just wonderful for things like this. If you want to just capture a portion of a demonstrative website or a step-by-step process, or even any of these wonderful 3D visualizations that are out there. It's a very powerful tool for that, and it's a way to liven up some of the media inside of your course, and it's more interesting than still images. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like when we bring it into our PowerPoint. Taking a look at iOS's screen recording functionality, I have gone ahead and created a screen recording on my phone so I can demonstrate to you how easy it is to set this up. So if you go into your settings, control center, and then customize controls, which is right here, you tap the little plus button next to screen recording, which would appear under more controls if it is not enabled, and that will bring it up into your control center. So to access your control center, depending on whether you're accessing it on an iPad or on an iPhone, you either will swipe up from the bottom edge of your screen or down from the upper right corner of your screen, and your screen recording control will show up right here as a little button. If it's not recording, it will show up as gray, and if it is recording, it will show up as red, and this is how you would turn it off. Then, of course, you will need to access it from your photo library on your device and get it up onto your computer if you're going to be doing some post-editing. And one of the nice ways to do that is to use AirDrop, or you could use your file folders as well. So just to cover QuickTime a little bit, it works on earlier versions of macOS, and when you invoke the screen recording function, it looks exactly like the Shift Command 5 option that you access in Catalina and Mojave. So we've already covered that. If you are using an earlier version of macOS, this will be the choice for you. Now we're going to go ahead and explore just some basic editing features in QuickTime, including trimming. Okay, so now that I have gone ahead and I have created my screen recording, my nice little capture here, I'm going to want to just review it. There we are. It's great. I do remember that at the end I moved the screen a little bit, and I ended up, see right there, I ended up getting a little bit of the bottom window. So I'm going to want to go ahead and cut that off. I'm going to want to trim that off. So to do that, I go into Edit, and then I select Trim, and it brings up this wonderful little timeline for me at the bottom. So I can just take this slider and I can slide it right back to where I included that crop, that portion that I didn't want to see. So we're just going to keep bringing this back until that disappears. There it is. Okay, so there's the end of my video. So that's it, it's done, and then I just select Trim. So you can trim off the beginning, you can trim off the end. So I'm happy with my video here, so I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to save this as my wonderful screenshot file here. So I'm just going to go into screen recording, and we're going to call it Chichen 1. And there we are. So now I'm going to go back into the PowerPoint file that I was creating earlier, and I am going to want to paste that or place that right directly into my presentation. So there's a couple of ways that you can do that. One of the easiest ways to do it is to just simply drag it right directly into your materials. So I'm just going to close out this one here, and there's my Chichen MOV file, and I'm just going to drop it right in there. Let it take a couple of moments to do what it needs to do, and of course I can resize the video right directly in my PowerPoint presentation. And now I have this wonderful little movie demonstration that I've been able to narrate. I'm just going to turn that up. Zoom in. I can even, if I want to, go inside the build. And now everything that I'm talking about in here, I can put some wonderful little bullet points in the list, and I have this wonderful customized exploration of Chichen Itza. So now that we've done that, I'm going to just go ahead and I'm going to save this file as demo screen recording, and that's been saved also into my directory. So I now have my MOV file and I have my screen recording file. So now that we've created our videos, we may want to do some additional compression and conversion. So Miro Video Converter is a really great free tool that you can download, and the links to that are provided on our open resource webpage. And if you have captured the screen using your computer, it is going to save in MOV format, and you're going to need to also convert those to a web-friendly format, which is MP4. I should note that when you do a screen capture on iOS or iPadOS, it automatically saves it as an MP4, but you may still want to do some further compression to it just to reduce some file sizes. So Miro is also good for that. We're going to go ahead and explore exactly how Miro does that. If I want to put this little movie file directly into Learn, I'm going to need to compress and convert that. So this is where we're going to take a look at the Miro Video Converter tool. So to add it to the queue, you just drag and drop it right into Miro Video Converter. And there's a couple of things that you're going to want to select. So you select the Format tab, Video, MP4 format. And if you want to compress this or create some additional custom sizes, like perhaps I've got a 5K display here, so this is probably quite large. Maybe I want to resize this to a maximum width of 1024. And I want to preserve some aspect ratios. This is actually a little bit more important if you've done a full screen resolution, but in my case, it was a custom size, so the aspect ratio will not match. So let's say I want the maximum size, I'm gonna say 600. That should be big enough, because if I wanna just embed this on a page and I wanna put it adjacent to some text, that's a good size. So then we can close out of this, and then we go convert to MP4. And notice that it takes a little while for it to finish converting. It's processing all of the information, and the longer your video file is, the longer it's going to take to compress that movie. So we're just going to go ahead and skip to the end. Our original video was this 201 megabyte file, and by compressing it, we've brought it down to 35 megabytes in size. And that is well under the recommended maximum of 500 megabytes that we recommend. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to put that wonderful little file over here. And now we're going to go into Learn and update those materials. So once you've arrived into your course in Learn, the first thing that you're going to want to do is get your new files up into Learn itself. So to do that, we recommend that you go into your course administration and select Manage Files. And your directory tree will look something very, very similar to this. So in my case, I like to organize all of my files according to file type. So these are media files. And one of my files is going to be a video file. And so I'm going to upload that. And I'm going to select the directory. So here it is. And there's my Chechen 1 MP4 video. So I'm going to just choose that and let it upload. It's just going to take a few moments here. And then once that's done, I'm going to go ahead and save it. Note that it does say that you can upload files to a maximum of 1 gigabyte. Again, we do recommend 500 megabytes to be your maximum. All right, and then we go ahead and save that. And I will also want to upload a PowerPoint file that I made. So I'm going to go ahead and put that into my documents, and I'm going to select upload again. There it is. So we're going to go ahead and choose that. And this also will take a little bit of time. So once this is all done, I'm going to save it, and then we're going to take a look at how we can add these materials into our course. So to do that, we're going to go into our content, and you can choose how you want to include it in your course in a variety of ways. Some instructors like to add it directly to their table of contents. In my case, I have decided that I want to have pages. So I'm going to open up my test file page that I am going to add these media files to, and I'm going to select Edit HTML. Now for my video sample, I'm going to insert a quick link. And I'm going to want this to open up in a new window so that it can utilize the full real estate of the screen when a user accesses the file. So I'm going to select Course File, and I put this one into my media folder, select video, and then there's my video right here. But I want to make sure that my settings are correct. So new window is selected, and I'm going to go ahead and give this a proper name. So we're going to call it Exploring Chichen Itza. And then I'm going to go ahead and insert that link. I'm telling my students that this is an MP4 file. I could also just simply call it a video. And I'm telling them that it's less than 1 minute, or approximately a minute in length. It was actually 39 seconds. I rounded up to the nearest minute. Another way that you can do that is you can just go and put in the proper timestamp as well, and then they would know exactly how long it is. And of course, I've also created a PowerPoint file. This link is going to be a little bit different though, and I'm going to explain why that is. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select my course file again, and for this one I uploaded it to my documents folder. So there's my screen recording. I'm going to select this again, but this time I'm going to select same frame. And I'm going to demonstrate the reason why I did that. And again, here I've done the file format so they know what it is. We can also go ahead and just call this a PowerPoint file as well. So now I'm going to save and close that, and I'm just going to demonstrate what those two very different links look like. So if I click on my video file, it's going to open it up in a new tab. There we are. So now we've got the full screen resolution being utilized here. So that's why we wanted to make sure that it opened up in a new screen. Otherwise, it would have just showed up somewhere within this particular frame here. So the second link was the PowerPoint file, and you'll notice that I said open it up in the same frame. That's because PowerPoint is not a web native format, and it's going to invoke the download command. So thank you very much for taking a moment to go through this brief little presentation. If you have any questions, visit any of the links that we have provided for you on the Open Resource website for additional support or help on how to prepare your materials for your online courses. Feel free to reach out to us at remoteteaching@uwaterloo.ca.